Oh, yes. Last week of regular season play here in college COD, and we've got some interesting matchups, to say the least, a lot for various reasons. But before we jump into that, let's get into what we got on your screen here. On my whole shift with me, I've got Austin Visions, Neil, and the beard is growing in. You're letting it kind of take over the face a little bit. I'm here for this energy. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. You know what it is? It's just the winter in Canada, man. It just comes out. You know, you got to grow the beard. It's just a thing you do, and we're rocking it. So we're having fun, and I'm in for a good time tonight.
Fair enough. I love that about you. I really do. But with that in mind, again, we are in our final week of regular season, which means that our top 25 is getting down to the nitty-gritty here. It's almost that tournament time that we've seen throughout March Madness, as we often call it. Northwood, of course, still flawless, still up top. But the interesting thing is that there is still this kind of battle over here for what's happening in our top, we'll call it top 8, because you've got a lot of teams that have gotten to 8+ wins with a couple of losses here or there. Teams like Mexico State have gotten a little bit of forgiveness because of the opponents they've played up against. But interestingly enough, at least the last time I think you and I casted it, this Michigan esports team has turned it around a little bit, because boy, did they look pretty mismanaged when we had them on stream a couple of weeks ago, but riding a little bit of a high lately.
Yeah, I mean, coming into top 10, right? Like, looking absolutely solid. These guys were, you know, a little struggling throughout that week. We were kind of casting over them when we were kind of criticizing maybe some of their game modes, but obviously putting it together, and it's at the perfect time. I think another team, you know, notably, obviously the Saints, I think, is a team I've been watching very closely. They looked really good last week after getting some revenge, as Andy kind of talks about in the after-action report. So I'm liking a lot of the squads that are coming in here, fighting for some of those positions, trying to make that argument to stay into the top 25 as well.
Yeah, very curious. And, you know, again, I'm looking at number 19. We watched this Ottawa team kind of, they're a little all over the place this year. Just 3 wins thus far, but still holding a little bit of overall consensus that the team will still do well. I don't know. I mean, at this point, when you're 3 and 5, I think you need to show me more than just that. But, of course, there are some heavy-hitting names on this. And then, of course, out this week, Lamar is out, Rutgers in. As we kind of keep vying for positioning for a lot of those teams just to make sure they line up in the top 8 for their region.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you talk about just getting to the end of the season and getting now into week number 6, man. Wins matter so much, and it can really be interesting, especially heading into playoffs, on how much prep teams do on you based off of where you end up in kind of the top 25, right? If you end up top 15, they might be like, all right, tough opponent, you know, going to do a little bit more work, kind of look back on that VOD. But if you can kind of coast your way into the, you know, the back end where teams maybe aren't looking at you as much, you can definitely surprise quite a few players. I mean, we've seen it throughout the last couple of years when we talk about this top 25 list. It's always a very hot topic here in the community, without a doubt.
And at a certain point, you have to start looking down to the Division II squads that are also still putting together good runs down there. You know, all it took was one maybe misplay on a weekend once that put you out of D1 and into D2. So interesting things across the board. Before we start talking about our first overall match, though, I want to give some shout-outs to our sponsors. Again, America's Navy coming back with us throughout the entirety of the season. Big love to them. And, hey, if you're looking for more educational opportunities, the Navy does allow you to earn a college education at their expense. And if you're anyone in this current climate of economical crisis, you're saying, wait, someone else paid for me? Great. So when you enlist, you can attend classes even while on ship. The Navy also offers world-class training using cutting-edge equipment and technology to prepare enlisted men and women to maximize their potential. So check them out at americasnavy.com. Also, big shout-outs to Fandom if you want to follow along with the season. All the regions and divisions are all up to date on the Fandom website, so make sure you check them out there. But to get into it, how about this? COD LSU, UT Chattanooga, both in the Midwest, neither doing all that well as far as results are concerned. This has been a region that has largely been dominated, I think, largely from the teams of Mars Hill, James Madison, who's a huge surprise. So, you know, the Southeast region not nearly as favored as it was last year for teams like UT Chattanooga.
Yeah, that's a really fair point. I think based off of what we've seen, it has not been as convincing. It's been very close. Even a lot of their wins have been, I think, really close, despite having like some 3-1s here and there. So it's been really interesting look, I think, this time of year looking at these guys. But I mean, on the other side, like you said, like this entire division, I think it's just been completely shaken up. I think we've seen a lot, you know, from even LSU in the past that have not really been able to put it together so much on this year. So we'll see what happens in this matchup. Again, these ones mean more than anything, right, as we get to the end of it right now.
Indeed the case. Let's take a look at number 24, LSU, though. Petrov, Pavy, Dwarflin, and Ronan. Petrov, one of the returning players. He has been participating with this LSU team since the first season, if I want to say so, back during Modern Warfare 2019. So he stuck through it. Pavy, Dwarflin, and Ronan now joining. You know, this is a roster that largely finds their success in the respawn, which is something that, you know, we can't say about the other side. We'll talk about that in a moment, but it's been search and destroy that's really let them down. We talked about a lot of their 3-1 wins, 1 losses, and those 3-1 wins have been in the search and destroy.
That's exactly it. Finding a way to tighten up an S&D is kind of always a difficulty, especially if you don't have the opportunity to kind of put in additional time, maybe to scrim just that game mode. But the respawns have been here. These guys definitely have this capability of being able to slay it on the map, which is necessary when you talk about a game like Modern Warfare 2. So they can keep the respawns up. I have to imagine these guys might be able to pull out another one. But as we look at the other side, we take a look at this roster. Not going to be easy to do, man, by any means. You talk about some veteranship. I mean, let's talk about Red Chase. How about for, one of the guys that has been around in CCL now for forever, it feels like. I will forever gas this guy as well. He's the playoff champ when it comes down to icing up in big moments. But alongside him, Zub, Slim, and Pixels here. See if they can go up against this squad and maybe take off some respawn talent.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Slim is back from last year as well and was a big force on this Mox COD team. But Pixels and Zub's obviously freshmen new to the squad, and you kind of look at them and say, are they letting the team down a little bit here, just 3 and 4? And, this is what we were talking about. The opposite side of the coin is this team has been great in Search and Destroy, but absolutely atrocious in Respawn. So we've got kind of a back-and-forth affair here between strengths versus weaknesses on both sides' accounts. Again, this is a team that is coming off of that Search and Destroy success, finding a way to beat that Farmingdale squad. So, that's good news in terms of them being able to kind of pull a major win, but that has not been, I think, the gauge of their entire season, only winning 3 total games.
That's exactly it. Need to pull out some more wins, and here it would be an excellent chance to be able to have this win over LSU, tie yourself up at least going into your day number 2 as well. But yeah, right across the board, I mean, everything's basically even outside of the S&D and hard points. That's what's kind of flipped here. So whenever you see series like this where one team is really good at S&D and the other is really good at hard point, sometimes they come down to who actually wins the map number 3, right? Like who's going to take the control. That very well kind of always can be the decider in a best of 5 like this. So we'll see who's kind of practiced up maybe in each other's strongest game mode coming into this best of 5.
Yeah, I like that. So taking a look to that conversation now, applying it to our best of 5 map set, we'll get Hydro to start things off. Interesting. Plus the Hotel Search and Destroy, followed up by the LSU Control. And the Hydro Hardpoint is, again, you can see Chattanooga's bands, all Fortress, so they obviously don't like that map. But the thing is, you're going into an LSU squad that has a good hardpoint, and you sit there and say, well, okay, now how all of a sudden are you going to be able to beat them on a Hydro Hardpoint, one of the most punishing hardpoint maps we have in the rotation?
Yeah, one of the most punishing maps, but also kind of one of the more flippy maps, I would say, too, in the chance that, if you're just not tracking all 4 players or just one player starts to slip the net, finds himself into some good rotational positions to flip out the spawns, you can absolutely steal away a Hydro. I mean, there's not much more I like than seeing a Hydro map 1, maybe other than seeing you, Alan. Maybe that's up there. But hey. It's just one of those maps, that anything can happen on it. So as much as we maybe do praise, one team for being really good at hardpoint, I think this is at least one that you could potentially take off of them.
Yeah, you're definitely right. It's just going off of the records. Again, we don't have a ton of information as far as what maps, those wins or losses have been on, but just the assumption being that Chattanooga is going to struggle on the respawn, it definitely feels a bit strange to see Hydro be allowed through. But I guess it's kind of like 6 of one, half a dozen of another, because Hydro is a very rotation-based game, whereas Fortress is very much so a spawn manipulation game. So it's kind of, you have to be good at one or the other as we get ready for it. And then you also saw the Hotel would be map number 4 as well for us. So opportunities for us to kind of get a little bit of a look there. We haven't had a chance to have much conversation. A lot of people are now talking about new maps being thrown in. What is your take on the current map set versus possibly seeing more added? I mean, it's not really a great time to do it because, season 4 or stage 4 is about to start for the CDL. So kind of feels like we missed our window to incorporate a new map, but where's your headspace at on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us were certainly expecting something to come through, hopefully sooner, for game modes like kind of Fortress, where it just always comes down to like round 5s in Control and stuff like this. So I was hoping that we were going to get one in like a lot earlier, and we saw some scrims. I think we were seeing one of the newer maps kind of thrown out there. Personally, I'm a fan. I think we need to get it in maybe for some of our more predictable maps, I will say right now in our current rotation, where you can really foreshadow, what's going to happen. But I think I was on the same page with most of the community where I was hoping we'd get something before stage 4. But this leaves you in a weird spot. If we do get a change now, it's like, well, now you have to be kind of ready to be on your toes, and you don't also learn that one if it gets thrown into the rotation late.
Yeah, because let's be honest, it very well may.
It might.
It's just that would be par for the course at this point in time, is that something sudden will come through. But
sure.
The way it always goes with things like this is there's always conversation surrounding like, oh, we should start playing this. And you start to hear it trickle down from the pros into challengers, and then eventually into college COD and the rest of the kind of third tier organizers that are running things. So who knows? Hard to say. outside of that, as we're waiting for a game to start, how's your bracket looking? Because you know that we're going to have, you know, a full college COD bracket, but it always starts with March Madness. Are you still alive? Are you still doing well?
No,
okay?
my brackets are always chalked, Alan. You know me, man. Like, I think what we did, I think we all did our own brackets for, Modern Warfare 2019, I want to say. And I'm pretty sure I was completely chalked. We did that one, mainly on stream, and it was not good. So, I don't like to talk about my brackets, all right? Are your brackets doing okay? Are they doing good?
My
bracket, they hanging on?
My bracket's okay. I actually didn't get a chance to check because I was so heartbroken about Indiana's loss last night that I just kind of stopped paying attention to basketball for the rest of the evening. But I want to say that my bracket's still doing well.
Okay.
I had a couple of predictions. I had the Furman win. That was pretty big, I think, for most people. They didn't have that, but you can't deny fast-paced basketball. So, wow, I am not doing well. I'm not okay. I just looked over the whole group. Just not okay. We'll move on to the next conversation point, which is gameplay. Let's get into it. Hydra Hardpoint. March Madness, we saw this last year at one point in time. I brought my own little whiteboard. There were a bunch of upsets that happened. It's like, you know what happens in March, baby. It's always madness time, so who knows for these two squads currently sitting in the top 8 of their group. But, again, they've got a lot of games they still have to make up and play before they get to the total 11. So a lot that could still happen, and this one, for all intents and purposes, is a flex match where you can either gain a little bit more separation if you're COD LSU or get yourself right back into the running of UTC. So we've got the Tigers, we've got the Mox, Hydro Hardpoint. Let's get it.
Let's get it on. I'm ready for it. Going to be a great one. Again, looking for something to come alive here potentially for the Mox when it comes down to the respawns. We already touched on it briefly. Want to see them winning rotations, holding some of these hills. So far, able to come out with a couple of kills. Good win here for Petrov as well, and that's going to allow them to get into the time early.
Really clean stuff, cleaning out the dome. Although, once more, do you get a read here that you've already flipped spawns? Because that was not a convincing push-through, so a lot of second-guessing comes out, and as it does, Pixel jumps in, finds the double, and starts to turn this hard point back around. At least neutral for now, just 14 seconds given up. Slim, from right over the top of the bridge. One big kill, second on the way, and that's actually good, because on the same moment, his teammates won gunfights on the back, flipping the spawns back around, which gets UTC in position for P2.
In a good spot to maybe even hold on, but Petrov, he's been picking heads, man. He's won a lot of clutch gunfights and just some of these movements across the map so far. See if he can try to come up with some more once his teammates get here. Top dome will be his, but Pixels, man, he picks up perfect moments of flank, almost finds all three, and that's going to disrupt this first push as Red Chase is doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Red Chase on the fast nav. I kind of figured that he was going to be running an AR this year with, of course, his stable, long history, but flexing over, trying to give his freshmen maybe a little bit of an opportunity to do what they do best. Zubs in the back. Oh, decent shots, but just a little bit late to the gunfight. Petrov takes the win, and with that, a chance here for LSU to still fight for this scrap time. Ronan, the first one in, deals with Pixels very cleanly. Trophy system down to enforce, not that it was needed, and that will be enough for COD LSU to put themselves in the lead. Yeah,
they could never really get to the back and actually hold on and stop the push through here for LSU. So spawns come in, push comes through, and the kills are clean enough to be able to get in there for some time. And now some cross-map movements happening again. Orflin looking for a potential spree, but he will be cut down for Pixels, who's ready to challenge up for the second. I'm telling you, he's feeling himself right now with some of these challenges. 6 and 4 for him. But now a chance for UTC to at least set up. They're here first. Let's see them lock in some time.
Yeah, and if you're the Mox, I think you just keep allowing Pixels to do this because the routes as he's hit for these little pinches and flanks have been very well timed, and he's not moving too far forward to where he's disturbing the spawn. So, yeah, this is another good look at it. These shots not nearly as clean, but he's able to at least assist Slim get a 7-tex grenade off for a kill. Red Chase up top has a lot to deal with and just does not quite expect that Petrov had already made the mantle. So LSU will stabilize here on the second. UTC looking for a break, and they will have Red Chase spawning behind. LSU have no idea that this is coming, and that is enough for the side of UTC to get the break.
That's really the big thing we talk about Hydro. It's just kind of getting a read on where they're coming from, and it's not always easy to do. Fighting now for back 20. Orflin again being the kind of spearhead of a lot of these plays and a lot of these breaks, and he's able to get himself in. So the time going to go the way of LSU. They are going to have a slight lead again, a chance for UTC to set up. They've been good on the rotations. Now we need to see them lock in some time.
First blood is good. Makes safe that long water route. Pixels, good information through the middle of the map. Will likely transmit that to Slim, and the longer he doesn't see this challenge, the more you have to figure that there's going to be a water route hit. Pavi trying to stay underneath the rocks, and oh goodness, he is sipping on some algae down there. Gets around the backside, Pavi for the first blood. Now an opportunity to turn that into 2, but no, turned away, and Red Chase does stabilize long enough for the Mox to still spawn in.
That's beautiful. 20 seconds locked in. This is what I wanted to see. A good hold. Now some structure also to come with it. Trying to zone maybe for the front. Ronan struggling to lock down Zubs, but now the trade's starting to come in, and LSU look like they might be good to break in. Spawn still in the back, though, for UTC. They can still very much play for this time. As Slim cleans up 2, that could potentially lock it in, but LSU still knocking on the door, trying to fight for the back 15.
Yeah, good anchor in there from Slim, just never giving away that rock position. Let your subs fly through mid. Subs, oh, careful. I don't think he'd noticed Dwarflin was popping up right there, but doesn't make a difference. The scrap time is now secured. On rotation, though, LSU do have 3 members at new, and the kills are as clean as you could possibly like. Petrov, even on the long flank, even cleaning up a little bit of that scrap exit. So now for UTC, it's all about trying to find a way to break this one through. And honestly, this spawn situation may allow for an early contest, but Zub's last one left, feeling maybe a little nervy about his teammates dropping so quickly, will back up, head up towards the second floor, and wait for help.
Top, kills coming through. Zub's still trying to control whatever he possibly can when he gets snapped on. Petrov, nice little turn. Will be able to put him down and allow LSU to still keep presence inside of the point, but got to play a little defense. Everyone just outside the point now for UTC, trying to find the kills. Red Chase able to get 1, but they're not clean enough, and Zubs also goes down to the back. LSU doing a great job here so far.
Long-range shots, Pavy on 5. Well done, because that was a dicey gunfight to take in the scrap 10 seconds. And locks over towards Red Chase, and another for Pavy. 7 straight for Pavy, and an opportunity for maybe even 8 here, as he's still playing for this very limited amounts of scrap time. Goodness, Pavy is dancing right now all over the mocks. And as we go back over towards the entryway, it's a 115-81 lead, and Pavy's looking for double digits.
Oh, we got to get a double chow on those double digits. Let me tell you, man, it's been just free pickings for him. One by one they come. Little water fight. There we go. Ronan able to pull up the pistol and finish him off. But it's those moments I think you have to be worried about if you're UTC. One player taking over like that, going on a 9 spree. And now you can start to see the snowball kind of taking over right now for them, as they've just been locking down P1. They are set up for P2. And UTC, I mean, they're going to have to bounce back and bounce back hard.
Yeah, and it's tough because that first rotation, you know, UTC were doing a pretty solid job of fighting when they were in a pretty bad spot, or holding when they're in a good spot. Just comes down to LSU running a little bit rampant around the map in these rotational moments, giving them an extra 10 seconds here, extra 10 seconds there, and now they find themselves up 60 points. UTC will get the back 5 seconds and a chance for Pixels to once again just kind of be a little suckerfish down here, make his way all the way around the back. Does see the gun of 1. That's Pavlov, who will drop. So now, how about this? Pixels off the pitch. One more to find down on the ladder. Okay. A little bit of SMG magic on both sides as UTC secured the break on the initial opening.
Street coming on in, trying to break this open. I mean, nobody's really in position, though, yet here, even if the kill did come through. And the trophy going to keep Slim nice and safe inside the hard point. Back 30. Could be all UTC's. One final push really for LSU to try to get something done. Whoa,
man.
Okay. Maybe with a nice little transfer, and now Numbers maybe at the front of the point to try to break in for 20 seconds, but the security is there. Dome control held by Zubs. We'll be able to lock in a solid hill here for UTC.
Yeah, really good survivability there from UTC. It wasn't just one trophy in this site. You also had one player up top with the AR locking things down with a trophy at his feet on Dome. That was Zubs. So, yeah, really good control here from UTC. And, oh, my goodness, Pixels on 1 HP. Not sure how he wins that gunfight, but he's happy to have it. Secures a chance now for exits for the Mox to make their way over towards the top side of control room, which is exactly what Zubs wants to do. But yeah, Ronan wasn't born yesterday. They expected that mantle, finds the easy kill, and LSU get the opening 15.
Ronan is working them right now on this push. He's just tagging up everybody, getting some good damage in, playing his life as well. And now LSU control, but have to hold. Push coming through, 2 kills so far, make it 3. Ronan's on a 5 spree, and that UTC push will come to a halt immediately. The only one up is Zubs, and he's also shredded out. LSU could look to run away here with a back 25.
Is it just me, or these LSU players feel like they've got really high sense?
Yeah.
I feel like we're watching these guys whip, dude. They're whipping it. So cross mid, Pixels trying to stave off the exit. Maybe gain a little bit of breathing room here for UTC as we move over towards the ruined pathway, but the spawns continue to be in the back here, so it's just a conga line of both teams just running across the map. Petrov, I'm sure, will have an opportunity to still spawn in. I'm not really sure, actually. No, he's going to spawn just before the new hardpoint opens up, so he'll spawn out by old, which means that Pavy's going to be by his lonesome here for a while. And while he's done well to get into the back, anchor things up, but surviving is a different question because here comes UT Chattanooga around the back. Expectation from Pavy was nearly there, but the Mocs clean him up nicely and now have a chance to start earning some very much so needed time.
This is one of their better hills last time in the last set. So Red Chase has got some great positioning right through mid. He can cut off this rotation as long as players aren't slipping through under the water or getting all the way around the back. I feel like he should be good for just about a full hold here. One final push before LSU have to start jocking it up and looking for the rotation. The kills are coming on through. Almost another one as Pixels has to work a little bit extra to try to finish that one off. But UTC, again, this P4 hill, it has been all theirs. And that's another full 60 to get them right back in the game.
It almost feels like UTC have won just about all the hard points on the right side of the map, while LSU have won all the hard points on the left side of the map. So something will have to change there if Chattanooga want to reduce this 9-point deficit and get into the advantage. Play all the way around the back. This is going to take so much time for Pixels, but it will be one that could reward, pending they get this first kill onto Pavy. He's already caught out by the rock, trying to keep his life. He's turned away. Ronan up top, next one up. Doesn't really get a good look at most of the Mocs that are now threatening quickly from the back and the side. Stuns are in. Ronan up top, still healthy, dives down in, finds a second kill. Third one's around the corner, but it will be traded out, and Pixels will get UTC the break, but it's not a guaranteed hold yet as LSU are already back on the re-break attempt.
Oh, they're fighting. They get right through the pond area, right through water, throw themselves right back in the point. 20 seconds, a huge 20 seconds. UTC have to win. Ronan trying to make his way into the point. Can't really land the shots, and Red Chase gets an angle. Maybe a chance for a trade. No way does Ronan do it again. Has to swap to a different weapon. And it looks like LSU will keep the numbers and will get the majority of the time. They could end it on P1. Now you have to start to play perfect here for UTC.
And UTC's got a lot of things they have to worry about because on the opposite front, yes, UTC could technically also win here, but it would be a hard stretch to figure that would happen. So you have to make sure no one gets around the back because you're playing for an eventual second hard point. And as a spawn comes through for Zubs, they get the guarantee that at the moment, yes, we are holding on to the left side of the minimap. Now it's just down to dealing with the threat in the middle of the map, but Slim can only find one. Dwarflin goes prone. No trade on him yet. Finally, Pixels is able to clear out mid, but without any high ground advantage, Pixels just kind of has to run in and do it himself, and there's not a lot of oversight, not a lot of help, and with that, now LSU to 240. Red Chase, not exactly a memorable game for him, just 19 and 26, and as he tries to get into the hard point, he's pushed around until finally Slim gets the double to help clear.
Oh, but look at this route. This route here, Dwarflin trying to come around the back. Only able to come up with one, but you could still end it here if you can get into the time. And it looks like it's not going to happen. We're going to go one more point. UTC are into control of the rotation. There's nobody really from LSU outside of Ronan that can try to play for the spawns, and Red Chase might be onto it.
Oh, he's caught him just barely. Oh, the dead silence play. Catches Ronan now a little off guard. Red Chase from the corner. Nades coming through. No trophy system in front of the hard point, so Red Chase has to watch this cross. Sees one on the mix, but he's not going to realize that Dwarflin's already around the back, and, well, Dwarflin's actually blocked spawns. Now with the kill, LSU will flip. UTC, with just the last two members alive, have to hold from inside the hard point, and Zubs can only do so much. Just up to if Slim can find a way to single-handedly break. He's got to find a way to get in, find a way to go, but no, not going to happen. LSU's break will allow them the map 1 win, although it was, I think, maybe tighter than their records on hardpoint would have suggested at the beginning of all this.
Wow, yeah, 250 to 237, a lot closer than I think maybe we were anticipating, but, I mean, Hydro could just be one of those maps, man. Lock down a rotation, you get a full 60, you can get yourself right back into the game. I mean, outside of P4, if there was just another hill, you got to think maybe that one plays it a little bit different there for UTC. That was really the hill they were getting about half of their points on, about 120 points, but not enough in the end. Good clutch play around the back. That was everything. You don't flip out those spawns, all of a sudden, you can just keep throwing your numbers into the point there with a close spawn and just flood over and over and over again. But 13 seconds, just the differential, certainly putting up a fight.
Absolutely. And, you know, I thought, again, like we mentioned halfway through that map, not bad stuff from UTC overall. So, you know, I think it's one of those situations you look over and say, okay, if you play like that in Hotel, if we get there, great. I think you've got an opportunity to kind of keep working that same idea, that same rotational timing, and come out with maybe a little bit more favor on some of these break attempts, because you know how the spawns can go with Hydro. They're really punishing if you do not control every single instance of them. So, you know, I thought it was a really good start overall for the series for UTC. It's going to hurt, obviously, not to be able to have a chance to really see an advantage in the map, but you were sticking with a good respawn team from start to finish here.
Absolutely were. Very solid across the board, and a lot of great plays coming on through for the sub players, too. I feel like, you know, Pixels had a lot of good routes that he was taking, but I feel like it was just, some of those small moments, right? Like once that spree comes through there for Pavi, he goes on 9, he earns himself the missile. He just kind of has one of those moments where momentum starts to take over.
Yeah.
And they're at least able to chain a couple hills together, but it's this moment in the back you're thinking maybe Pixels could continue to just interrupt the spawns. He was great for finding the routes, just not enough for keeping enough presence at least around the point.
Yeah, and that was the exact response that you needed to see from UTC because, otherwise this map was going to be wide open and pretty much over. So, again, that's why I look at this Mox team and say, okay, you did well. You put together a response when a response was needed. Just came down to the fact that, again, the map played. We have our half, you have your half, and LSU just did a little bit better when it came to breaking down some of those setups over towards the pathway, and even more so, I think, right there at the end on the second hard point. So, 29-19 from Pavi, 3,200 damage. Heck of a map from him with a minute 35 in the hard point. On the other side, Slim had some great lockdown moments. Pixel, some great flank. I think, largely speaking, you can kind of see the dispersion across the hill time from one team to the other, and that's your big indicator of difference, I think, in this map.
Everyone getting involved. Love to see it. Ronan also had a lot of crazy moments where it looked like it was not easy to work through them with the AR. Like, you want to have maybe a sub in some of those moments, but he was still just putting in work, finding a lot of kills up top there that we were seeing kind of around P3. So it's a lot of great plays from him and just a lot of great positioning, just making some heads-up plays. But overall, map 1 goes how we kind of expected. It's a lot closer, like we said, but now the map 2. And that's when we start talking about the S&D. And I feel like based off of at least what we've seen so far from like players like Pixels hitting some of these routes, I think the S&D is going to be really interesting to see if they can continue to live up to their 5-2 record here for the Mox.
Yeah, it's one of those situations that, again, you have to trust your record. Again, we don't really have a lot of information on what maps they prefer versus which ones they do not, outside of the vetoes, which was all Mercado on one side, all Fortress on the other. So,
yeah.
That gives us some inference into what styles they like to play in. But Hotel Search Destroy is one of those that also kind of, at this level, I should say, ends up being a lot of blind pushes in towards A. We don't really often see a lot of finesse, those little mid-route hits that we see from like top challengers and CDL squads. It's a lot of you flood, A, we'll flood B, those types of things. So I think I'll be really curious to see what kind of flexibility and variety the Mox bring in here, because this COD LSU team on the other side of things has not particularly been great in search and destroy. So this would be an opportunity, I think, to kind of flex your muscles and just kind of turn the tempo of this map in this series, rather, into your favor, just by kind of running at this Tiger squad that has largely been unsuccessful in map 2 and 5.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I mean, you got to be telling yourself, if we can steal this map away, like, we got this series locked up with how our respawns are. And you have to kind of, always wonder when a team is, not so good at S&D and you're going up against a team that is pretty strong in it. Like, what do you decide to do, right? Like, do you try to go for maybe some more of these hard counter plays and stack numbers, like, on one side of the map to try to force engagements? Don't let them get set up. Do not let them work picks or info. Like, you have to maybe, like, approach it a little bit differently, I feel like, or at least be willing to do something different from round to round and just not do, like, the same default setup where you're just getting, like, picked apart. It's like, oh, well, now we have to rotate and retake, and we don't have numbers. So we'll see what they kind of opt in to do here, but I'd love to see maybe just a little bit of creativity or at least stacking numbers maybe on one side of the map here, knowing that they're not very good, at least when it comes down to this game mode.
Absolutely. It's very curious, but hey, it's about to be playoff time, and all these things that we're asking questions to are going to have answers if we're going to make it through a very large and very long playoff run. For these teams, again, if they finish top 8, they're going to be in a really good spot to kind of secure a shorter bracket, but there is something to be said about, playoff brackets that have multiple teams in it, especially with hot D2 squads that are not going to have the chance at free buys to really flex their muscles in one day of action and to come out hot. We've seen that more often than not. There's a lot of gripes about it in the challengers and CDO community, like, hey, we need to have matches on Sunday so we don't come into our match cold, things like that. So, I think that there's going to be a very realistic point here where you look at all these problems and say, if you don't have it figured out at a certain point, you're kind of just hoping that the boat doesn't sink. Let's see how long we can get that journey going, because you can't float for long with holes in the boat, that's for sure.
No, it doesn't sound good. Holes in the boat, Alan. I would not want to be out in sea with that,
Holes in my cheese? I do love a good slice of Swiss.
Cheese.
So,
yeah, you can't go wrong with a little Swiss cheese.
You
know what? I don't think we've ever talked about cheese before. Is Swiss like your go-to? Is that the best, or?
I'm a provolone fan. I think it's the most universal cheese. I think it works on just about everything. So, Swiss is just it's good for like a Reuben or a roast beef sandwich, but like provolone works on everything. So I gravitate towards the more universal of the cheeses, I say.
All right, that's fair. I like that right there out of you.
You're a blended guy, aren't you? You're a
I'm
shredded blended guy.
How did you know?
I just know. I just know.
How did you know that?
I just know.
Dude.
I had a feeling. Like, can I call this? I'm willing to wager that when you go to a Subway, do you eat Subway, by the way, in Canada? Do you go to Subway?
Oh, okay. No, I do.
Your order is a chicken bacon ranch with the shredded cheese on top. It has to be.
It's close. It's I get a black forest ham. Black forest ham. With shredded cheese and toasted.
Okay.
But you were pretty close, man. It's kind of scary.
I felt really good about that prediction.
Did we go to Subway when you were in Toronto?
We did not go to a Subway. No.
We
could make it happen this time, though.
All right. I'm convinced. I like that.
Also, fun fact: the chicken bacon ranch is my personal favorite. So
I'll write that down.
Yeah. And you add pepperoni, dude. Power play. It's a power play. I'm telling you. Let's get into the search. A little 2-2 split here for UTC on the first offense. Red Chase leaning over and hello. Don't often see SMG players just run out of luggage halls like that, but Pavi maybe thought he had a timing and he gets punished.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. At least show a shoulder, right? Like, or have someone kind of maybe above you at the same time to at least maybe work a trade. So, kind of given a free kill, but a chance to still respond. That's one over the top. Red Chase will get the trade, and he wants to drop this bomb immediately, but that drops in the back, and he's going to go for the spray, gives away his position, but doesn't finish off the kill.
He's going to waste the Semtex just to open the doors as well, and the long play from Pixels. Now a big problem here for LSU. Although Pixels mounts right into the waiting arms of Petrov. So now we go to a 2v2. Ronan trying to look for the break and always sees the shoulder of Red Chase. That's enough for the easy first kill. And then Petrov finishes things off. Watch out for the team nade. I thought that bounced right back into their face. That would have been bad.
Looked like it, but man, I mean, talk about breaking down a setup. It is not an easy setup to break, and both players had ARs, yeah? Ronan had an AR too, so, I mean, you have to basically just, like, predict over the top when the player is going to be, like, snaking you, or you have to work an angle like Ronan did down low and just kind of figure out where Red Chase is playing. He just kind of finds a prone, not hiding behind any cover, so picks him up. Petrov from the back. My goodness. Talk about retaking a site inside of Kitchen with ARs. That's how you do it. That's a hell of a first round here for LSU.
Absolutely. And just a good shutdown of Pixels on that long flank before it became too dangerous, because for a moment there looked like Ronan was dead to rights. Here we go. Nade stunts all towards the front doors on the valet. Spam towards Slim, who's got a scope out but isn't really able to contest too much. It's a quick plant from LSU. And I like the tempo swap here. Don't let UTC get away with too much. Long flank around the back, though, has caused some problems, and now LSU have to try to survive a 2v4.
Slim definitely saw one player cross. He's trying to get a read on whereabouts he's playing from. And, well, they'll finish off Petrov. Just need one more. Warflin would have to do something insane. Just have a chance maybe to get a repeat on a Red Chase, but luckily Slim comes from behind. He still had to get the player off the bomb, but certainly a good attempt, a good look, low on time, almost made it happen. However, UTC, they bounce back and they respond. Yeah,
it's just an interesting way that LSU actually get the bomb off without being even really seen by Slim and the sniper rifle, but still don't walk away with an opportunity to really set up their post plant. Largely, again, the focus on the backside was a 1v1, so, you know, those things come and go as you please, but LSU not really able to isolate Slim up top. Not really able to get any kills either, actually, so 1-1 we go. And now for UTC, has that early first round split caused any question marks here for LSU, who are already shaky in their search and destroy, but giving up a B plant may make this defense reconsider how it wants to set up, and you're going to get now a huge stack through the middle of the map. As Pavi will watch the cross, Ronan up top, difficult fight, but wow, still wins it. Trade comes through. It's Slim with the sniper rifle through the window, I want to say, the covered window, and that's going to be enough for Red Chase to now make his move towards the catwalk, and everything's falling apart very quickly.
Yeah, Red Chase seals the deal, likely. Slim even gets away from the nade to make sure he's not traded out there. But yeah, that was absolutely wild. I mean, Red Chase seals it, but that opening and that pick through the wall, it must have been a wall bang from the back of like E2 or something, right? And just connects with them. Unbelievable shots end up coming through initially, but that trade really was everything to get Red Chase kind of in that position uncontested. And he just gets a great read there inside of Couches.
Yep. Solid call. So now LSU, what do you do now after your aggressive A plan? Do we try to do that twice in a row? Especially knowing that Slim is sniping. That's the real question, because that will be a threat. And by the look of it, Slim is going to go right back up top, have the exact same setup he had before. Not going to catch anybody initially, but he's learned his lesson. But the hit marker does actually allow the bomb to get planted, even though Slim gets first blood. Shot over the top, though, lands for a second and third. How about that from Slim? Gets 3 of the 4. One more to grab. Maybe Petrov from mid-front desk, but there's really only so much he can do. Red Chase gets the kill, and UTC get the round.
Oh my goodness, dude. Slim just picks him apart. He's jumping over the top of the desk just to peek if he's still there, and then he's connecting on those shots as well. Are you kidding me, man? What a round coming on through there for Slim. Don't get to see it in the final kill, but my goodness, this man's getting hot with the scope, and I'd be terrified if I'm on the other side.
Yep, that's for sure. That will definitely make you reconsider your next hit. I'll say that much. And again, this is going to be a huge factor defensively as well. Yeah, as we watch it back one more time. I mean, this is just scoot later. And then, you wanted to see, you get the same treatment to you later, dude.
It's got to feel great for Slim. 5-1, and he is just carrying the bomb as well. Wants to swap it up, of course. It's going to be a full man hit right into B. And Petrov's gotta get a lot of work done. He's able to at least work for the first, plays his life. No trade's gonna come through, but it is still control of the site, at least here for Zelda, but now they need a trophy system.
A bit of an ego chow there from Pixels. I mean, you'd see the doors are wide open. You even see the player in the back was wait for the double chow, you'd think, but Petrov gets first blood. Bomb still being planted. Slim on it, but the quick retake. Pavi just runs right in. Well done. Leaving Red Chase now by himself. No dead silence, but he's moving very quickly, and he actually may cut this at the exact right moment. Though he does get stunned up, nades to follow. No chance there. LSU successful for their second straight B retake.
Man, B just has not really worked out for them too well. Initially, some of these battles, go well the first time. This time I'm kind of with you. It's a really aggressive chow. Pixels just kind of flies at him. At the very least, you always kind of maybe just want to jump to that right corner and then allow the second player to follow you up in chow if you're trying to, break in that way. As soon as you get info on the doors, a little bit tough. And Red Chase just not really in a position. If that stun doesn't connect, maybe he gets really good timing to get the nade off, maybe kind of get away, go back to Freezer, however he wants to play it. But not to be, retake still good.
Unreal. Okay. You have to do something different here for your LSU. Let's just say that right here. Right here, right now. Because there's no reason that Slim is not going to go to that same spot, top bedroom. And so LSU this time are going to try to flood in towards Ruggs. And look at this defensive setup. The stun should land. Dorflin's trying to catch maybe a timing into Red Chase off to the throw, but UTC, that's all the info they need. They're giving up the A site in full rotation to a defense at B, but in the opening, Ronan still gets first blood, and that should lead to a plant, but Slim is in position with the scope.
You're going to be so careful peeking his back left corner. Slim connects again. That's the first, and, well, he's going to lose all of his teammates. They're giving him looks, and he almost got another freebie. As the stun nade going to come out, will connect. However, this one would be insanely impressive, and he's not even really going to get too much of a look here, as they're going to run to the back, and he's getting shots off, just not finishing them. Slim, there's no way this happens. 1v2 now.
I mean, he's got a rifle now.
No way.
You start to think it could be doable. But time is going to be a problem, and, well, Slim, you got to go. You got to go. And now here he comes. Maybe. Nope, needs to reload first. All right, well. NT, I suppose. A couple of shots tagged, but there's just not going to be enough time to clear these corners. No. NT. It was a heck of a try.
It was a good try. Like, he lived a lot longer than he should have, right? Like, he was like 1 HP in like 3 different occasions, like a little 1v3, and then gets a nice look at the back there. And again, I mean, they're challenging him like way more than I ever would. If I saw my teammates doing this in like a rank play, dude, I'd be like screaming at the top of my lungs, like, do not give this guy a look. And they're giving him a lot of free looks. Doesn't connect on some of them that round, luckily, for the LSU boys. But my goodness, he is still snapping, and he's 7-3.
Okay. Tie game, though. How about that? Especially considering the fireworks we've seen from Slim, you wouldn't think that this would be the case, but such is life. And once more, UTC looking to play that opening offense. 2-2 split, but Pevy. Oh! Pevy! You gotta finish your food! No! No!
Oh, that can't happen. That cannot happen. Oh, All right, shake it off, regain. And now, a round you feel like should go the way of UTC here with the numbers and the A site that is completely open, not really defended until Dwarflin does get here. As the dead silence pops, might be able to get a look at the bomb. Door's going to open, but won't commit for the challenge. 3v3 bomb still has not went down.
Oh, but Slim is still watching over the top of this. Top bedroom is no longer a big option here for the side of LSU. Slim looking to sneak forward. Bomb not planted yet, and they're pushing through for the kills here. And now it's just down to hunting down Dwarflin, but as Dwarflin gets the kill into Red Chase, it's a 1v1. Slim, dead silence. Has he missed his mark? Chasing him around. Turn, and the shots are nearly there, but UTC survived the round, if only just barely.
Wow. I mean, it starts with a kill that shouldn't have happened and almost ends with a kill that shouldn't have happened here. Dwarflin gets another good look. Lays down. I think the dead silence just runs out as he comes around the corner to chase him. Likely gets a sound cue. But wow. What an insane round. And we'll see it here again on what should not have happened, Alan. Gotta get those kills.
Yeah. Well, we all saw it, so. And if you didn't, it was clipped. And if it wasn't, someone's doing it right now. Slim this time, AR. Up top. Oh, he actually gets pushed around just a touch, but wants to try to deny the plant, and they do successfully stop, but problem here is they have lost Slim, and defensively, UTC is actually looking to stretch a little bit with Pixels on the long flank.
And they're not going to expect this at all. Sniper is still at the back of D1. The other players at D2. Pixel's sure going to run out of dead silence, but he can just slowly unravel here for what you would imagine would be a two-piece, and will likely end the round. If you can trade this out, that's kind of everything, but this first kill should.
Oh, no. Not again. Okay. Shake it off on your side now. If you're Pixels. Oh, Ronin. Nice shots from Ronin trying to give an answer to Slim. Those are 3 snipes in the round from Ronin. All of them either saving lives or finding Pixels to shoot at. Oh, how about this one, too? Quick readjustment. How you doing?
Dude, what is going on in this SD right now, man? There is
no idea.
It's just all over the place, man. You're seeing crazy sniper clips like we're back in like old Modern Warfare 2 days, and we're seeing turn-ons that shouldn't happen. I mean, oh, this is wild. That's certainly going to hurt, though, in the back. You felt like that kill was probably going to determine everything, or maybe even turn it into a second, I was thinking. Not to be. 4-4 the tally. Huge swing round now. Lads, it's another nice shot here. The snipers are just firing on all cylinders.
Dwarflin. Oh, that was a bold peek. Red Chase punishes. Bomb is planted, even though Pavy does find the kill. Sniper rifle now out, and oh, he takes the head off of Slim. What is happening? These sniper rifles are hidden just a little different. And now Petrov sneaking in through mid. Gets around the back of the desk. Tries to finesse it, but Zub shuts him down. Pavy last one up, 1v2. Dead silence in. Trying to hunt down Red Chase, who has slipped the net. So he goes back to the scope. Semtex out. Trying to isolate, just no time to. And UTC still coming through. If only just barely. Now on map point.
Yes. Map point. It's not how close map one was. And now one of their better game modes is the exact same thing. Have to just completely grind out a lot of these rounds. No freebies, really, throughout this whole map. And another chance at maybe a potential 1v2, but the kill comes through. They'll hold on. And UTC looking to put it away on defense, but what will LSU do differently? They've showed us the B play that worked out. They've tried this A play, and well, will the snipers come back out to play? I have to imagine yes.
Yeah. I mean, it has to with those one of those if it ain't broke, don't fix it type things. So, although Red Chase, oh god, this timing. Oh boy, this timing. 2 will fall, including the bomb carrier. LSU now caught in shambles. I mean, you just don't expect it. An SMG rush through mid arches. That is just the definition of a blind counter. Now Petrov facing down a 1v4. Actually, I think he got a little bit of help from UTC. Team stunning a touch there. Petrov still in a very dangerous spot. That stun will make him a little less dangerous, but there's no chow. And now the nade will finally tag, and that will be the end of him. Wow. What a search to destroy.
Yeah. Just from highlight reels with the scopes to just insane plays coming on through, nasty snaps, like the list just goes on. And man, they almost kind of give him this little chance here to 1v4 too. I think if Petrov gets his trophy system down, all of a sudden, like maybe he starts to work this desk and work for some more kills. So a very thrilling search and destroy, that is for sure. And UTC at least getting it done. 6-4 victory as a couple players drop double digits there to make sure they bring that one in.
Yeah, it's just, again, you hit it on the head. The sniper rifles, changed rounds, SMG flanks, successful or unsuccessful, changed rounds, and we had ourselves a really tight affair. So, 1-1 the count here, and I guess we said it about UTC, so you may as well say about LSU. Considering their record, that wasn't terrible search and destroy at all. No. It was
like some of the retakes we were seeing, like inside of Kitchen. Again, just kind of looking at the ARs in a 2v3. Not an easy site to break down when you don't have maybe a vast enough to play a pinch or to try to at least entry into bait and switch. But very well done. A lot of great plays throughout this entire map here for them. However, I think some of the play calls that we were seeing, at least out of Red Chase, and then, of course, this crazy play from Slim where he's just connecting. There were just so many explosions throughout this entire map, man. But it comes down to some of those clutch moments, and that's where UTC were able to get the best of LSU.
Yeah, it does come out of a couple of really special moments individually, because if you looked at like the team macro side of things, like up until this point at round 6, UTC had been shut down on 2 successful bomb plants at B. Like LSU's retake of the B site was pretty polished, and they're both coming in very different ways. So then we started to get this battle over the A site, and that's when we started to see sniper rifles in anybody's hands wreak havoc. And then, yeah, Red Chase just completely blows open a play. I mean, if you were to watch that back and just follow Red Chase's arrow, you would, I would say 99 out of 100 times, say that there's no way he gets through this mid-route. It just should not happen, but that time through, LSU stacked over towards Restaurant and just happened to be a blind counter that round through.
Happened to be. Good play from Red Chase. He finishes 11-5. That's a great bounce back after the map 1. You know, he didn't play horrible by any means in the map 1, but I don't think it's up to the standard that we're used to seeing maybe from him individually when it comes down to him in the scene and what we've seen over the years. But great bounce back here on the S&D, man. 11-5. He just steals a lot of those rounds all by himself. And Slim, I mean, well, you can't say enough great things from him, man. He hits so many insane sniper shots that entire map.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So we've got ourselves a 1-1 count. Both maps very tight between both these two squads. And we go into a control where, again, this is the only real mode where the records don't really have a differential as far as who's better, who's worse. Sure. Both teams have been either good or bad in respawn, but a lot of that has been off of the hard point and not necessarily the control. So interesting one at foot coming up to us. It's the LSU control, the backside of the break. Don't go too far. We've got a good one here. COD LSU and UTC Chattanooga. Up next, LSU low control. Don't go far. Welcome back. I don't know why I just did that, but we're doing it. Map 3, LSU low control. Coming up next on what has been a tight series thus far. LSU currently number 24 based on our power rankings and our top 25 overall rankings. A little bit tested throughout the search and the hard point, but they came out on top of one, not quite the other, leading us to definitely the LSU low control and at least the hotel hardpoint. And with the lack of success that UTC has had statistically in the respawn, gotta find a way to take one of the two of these.
Yeah, you gotta find one, right? You can't win a best of 5 series just off of the S&Ds. Gotta find a way to at least come away with one of these respawns, and I think that you'd be eyeing up this LSU low control. They had a good showing, at least in the hotel, a lot of close rounds, but they were able to edge out, at least in a lot of them, show some of those clutch moments there. You know, saw a lot of it from Red Chase and Slim. You bring that into an LSU, though, and you got yourself a series. You got a chance here to get this win on LSU, but yeah, you gotta come alive here in the LSU, though. We gotta see some better teamwork when it comes down to working around these objectives and setting themselves up for success here. You need to find this one in my mind, Alan.
Yeah, and look, I think it's pretty safe to say, you know, comparing a Hydro hardpoint to an LSU low control, you know, the Hydro hardpoint can be decided by good objective play and good spawn manipulation. But LSU low control is simply put, you have to be able to win your gunfights. That's it. Like, you can get away with not winning gunfights and still being able to win a Hydro hardpoint, for instance, because you're taking long routes, you're swimming, you're doing all the things. But if you're an LSU low control and you're just simply put getting out-fragged, you're going to get spawn trapped, you're going to not see a single zone, or you're on the other side of things, never going to be able to get into good positions. And now I'm talking about on either side, offensively or defensively. Those things are critically important towards being able to win this map. I think especially from the offensive side, which statistically speaking is the more difficult of the two sides based on results.
Certainly the case, but we'll see what happens, man. LSU looking to bring some of that flair for the map one, but it was only 13 points separating the two. If you're just tuning into this series, it has been a very tight affair for the first two maps. I have to imagine that holds true here for the map 3 with the identical records, but we'll see what happens. LSU looking for a bounce back. UTC looking for that huge respawn win.
That's going to be LSU on the offense first. Nades and focus over towards the A zone initially. Petrov in a little bit of trouble, but he has gotten a read that Slim is playing towards top tower, and that's enough for Ronan to wait to counter. Tough gunfight, though, and Slim just picks him out of the window, no worries. Dwarflin through mid-map, a chance to get around the back, but once again pushed back, and LSU have yet to see a zone.
Dwarflin at least able to play his life, so still a chance to make some kind of a proactive play for the back here. As you can see, some of the members starting to go searching for him, figuring out where he's went to. Pixel's going to get that call out, but B going to be the target now on the attack. And the first tick could be locked in, but Red Chase wants to disrupt it. He's behind the play, but can't find any success. And now numbers are here on the point.
Looking good for the first tick of progress. The defense trying to get a position from the high ground first. Have you gotten a read on it? Slim up top for the first instance. Pixels over the window, but it's actually Red Chase's nade off respawn that eliminates the initial threat. Second tick of progress, though, is on the way. And UTC a bit hesitant to get onto the zone, but they do clear off the only offensive contender, allowing at least a stall out and maybe now finally some depletion of that second tick as off spawn LSU are focused towards A.
That's the biggest part about that. The second tick is unlocked. Now have to make their way over to A, where Slim is already contesting it. Has to dodge some nades, and will do so successfully as players are still lingering down below, but he's got some teammates with him, trying to help on this push. Now they're working for the kills. LSU starting to surge on through. Zubs would have to get something done. He's going to drop. Red Chase down the last one up.
Oh, and he just gets caught YYing on top of the couch. I thought would have made much of a difference. There was help nearby, and Petrov, as he secures a second tick, that will also lead to a third with the kill onto Pixels. So the full stack is in, and this has largely just been the Dwarflin show. 7-2 through one zone captured. His other teammates only have 3 combined, including Pavi, who finally gets on the board for the first time. UTC going to be a little bit stretched here defensively without an opportunity to really reinforce safely with this top patio position being locked down by LSU.
Both spawners struggling to get out of their spawn, so now a chance to be able to still stop the clock and maybe try to force some more gunfights, but now they're starting to spawn behind Pride Rock here. They're getting some splits, so this might not be fully red, and now they're basically going to eliminate just about everyone here from the back. Dwarflin, the only one up, still on that force spree. He's been great so far, and he has a chance to make another big play.
Oh, timing here, not particularly incredible, but still finds one kill. Turns around for a second, runs out of ammunition, and only had a knife in his back pocket. Tough scenes. And now Slim, a chance to move forward off of that. Free read onto one. I think you also have some information that Petrov is in one of these two windows. Also saw a nade being tossed from that mid-cut. So Slim's got a lot of things in front of him here, and, well, it's actually the thing behind him that starts to push him around as Ronan was trying to work a bit of a flank. A little messy on cross of both sides at the moment with 18 seconds to play and 11v11, and Dwarflin back onto his way is 11-3.
Kind of timing, though. It's kind of timing to come around the back. He's just not finding any kills. Not yet, anyway. With 8 seconds, though, you're going to have to now just kind of throw yourself on the point. Dwarflin gonna drop. Pixels is there, and you feel like the defense should be here to hold. You'd have to go big on the point itself, and Ronan's able to find more than one. Second tick does come through. Red Chase able to get it there, but at least they lock the second tick. Still one more chance to fly on in, but Red Chase will hold strong. However, a nice ending moment there to at least get 2 of the 3.
And I think if you look at that from LSU's perspective, you say if anybody could just help Dwarflin, you definitely lock that offense in. I mean, he got, what, 13 kills in the first round? The rest of his teammates had, like, 8. So it's not good as far as the spreading of the wealth. But for UTC, just narrowly hanging on.
Yeah.
So a lot of ticks given away, but they still get the first point of the board, and now a chance to try to one-up onto the offense of their own.
Slim doing a similar thing, though. He's also 9-2. He plays his life for a long time there at that B point. And I think it's kind of him that, playing his life as long as he did, that allows him to hold on to the zone. Saves top AC forever. Needs some more of that now into this round. See if he can get to a power position as Red Chase has picked maybe a good timing. Gets a good read on this mid push, but doesn't get any shots back there. Dwarflin again, bringing the aggression, shutting down the push. They do touch B for a second, but UTC struggling to keep the numbers alive.
And that fence line continues to be a problem for both sides. Up top, Pixels finishes off one. That should get him on towards A if he needs to, but he's already got a teammate of Red Chase on, and, well, he wasn't there to assist, unfortunately. Long-range shots, only good for a couple of tags, and UTC are actually across the map here, but without the ability to really play for either zone. Pixels caught on reload, hoping, praying that some of that spray will connect, but it does not. And our focus goes back towards Zubs, the last one standing for the Mox over towards A until LSU find a way to clear.
Oh, it's been a little bit split so far, I feel like, watching UTC on the attack. It's like, you know, they're making good roaming plays up top, trying to maybe just pull defensive members from zone to zone. But overall, it hasn't really resulted in any progress. No ticks, and now they're going to finally maybe have a shot to move over to A. They find a good clean kill right through mid. They have numbers stacking up, but someone's got to get a touch, and they got to find the entries. Maybe still very much up top playing his life and just being a nuisance.
And this flank from Dorflin could once again be a problem. Ronan for the first, Petrov the second. Everyone flies on in, and the LSU Tigers, no worries, holding on to the A zone. And boy, has the slaying stopped for UT Chattanooga. 24 plays 16, 23 seconds on the clock. Dorflin shut down from trying to get around the back, but Pavy's quick to follow up on the exact same angle. Just wants to make sure no one's going to go over to A for free. But the focus for the Mox is actually on towards this B zone here, and they do have numbers that aren't just on the zone. They're actually got Pixels a little bit pushed up, and if he finds a kill here and clears this window, there's a legitimate chance that you can get 60 seconds here.
Yeah, Ronan spot pretty much everything. Try to clear them off the point. Pixel still alive, as you called. First tick locked, but numbers starting to dwindle. Just two players kind of left on the zone, forced to go big, and have to watch this pinch as well. And too much to ask for, but still, progress seems to be coming on through. Zubs finds another. Hold on a second. UTC are doing it, but it's all Zubs leading the charge. Now numbers are in for the stack, and with 17 seconds left, they steal the zone away from LSU.
Wow, dude, that is an unbelievable second gunfight from Zubs. Just hoping and praying that he gets the connections. He had like 16 HP and he took like 1 bullet of damage. Unbelievable. So now 54 seconds on the clock. Still a significant life lead here for COD LSU. And more so, the map positioning is just steeply in their favor. Petrov, number 2 in purple, going to be reading a lot of this play around the back. Dorflin's trying to hunt down Red Chase, who will not allow himself to be chased. And now it's on to the play. Zubs on 4. Shut down Ronan just from in front of the tower. Catches him by surprise. And with 30 seconds, the Mox are going to be a little hard-pressed, I would say, to get back over to A here safely.
Absolutely. Pixels maybe had a chance to come behind the player, maybe spawn trap, but no kills are coming through. He's taken out, and now one final push to at least stop the clock. Abby able to find another one, and his teammates pretty much clean up everyone else. So looking good here, and a nice hold. It's still a crazy moment that happens, though, in the end. Getting that zone, I feel like, was not expected with only 17 seconds of the defense holding as well as it did. But crazy play there for Zubs to really lock that one in and at least get that zone in 3 ticks.
Yeah, it's something, right? But it still kind of leaves you concerned, I think, just about the lack of success that was found there offensively outside of this play from Zubs. Which very well may be a top 5 play, consider it, because that was unbelievably clutch.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. UTC now back over to the defense. And this may just be a mission on stopping Dorflin, because he was the only offensive threat that LSU had in their first round.
Yeah, just do not let this guy roam around up top. At least double chow this guy. You know he's found his first kill. Like, come with me, hold my hand. We're going to find him. I'm with you there, brother. See what he can do and what his first initial route's going to look like. Looks like the play is kind of unfolding by B. Pixel's going to get a read on it. Orphan doesn't really find any connecting shots. Has to play his life and wait patiently. Good cover fire. He's got the regen, and he's still got a chance to make a proactive play.
Well, LSU's still looking for that opening, that trigger call to say which zone are we going to go for. And as they find 2 kills over, one on either zone, actually, they do commit into A. 2 players on. Red Chase just caught completely off guard and maybe a little bit stuck in that window by the look of it. And as he falls short of any sort of defense, Slim is going to give it a try, but completely countered out. Second tick locked. Third on the way very rapidly as well, as Dwarflin is still in a good position to fight here. top of the boxes. How do you communicate this one if you're Pixels? And it looks like, well, he doesn't. So Dwarflin still gets the kill, and with that, LSU gained the zone pretty easily.
Yeah, they do. I feel like the biggest difference right now is when you see like everyone commit to a zone, like they commit to a zone. Everybody's kind of just on top of each other, ready to play trades, ready to stack the point, and they're playing very, very well at the moment. But we'll see if B can actually be secure this time. They got 2 out of the 3 ticks last time, and Dwarflin is back in that position we talked about. He's up top, and he's got teammates with him too.
Well, the problem here for UTC is they have no mid-map control, which is a pivot point to where LSU could start possibly spawn trapping you. So you have to try to win back some of this area, but it looks like UTC are going to wait until LSU commit into this zone, then hopefully find the kills and follow forward. Pixel's on the hunt. Well, he's completely caught Abby off guard. A little quick rotation off the dead silence, and there you go. Kills favor the Mox, and look where they head, right back into mid-map.
Back into mid. Pixels trying to hit the jump. It gets a nice little sound cue, and now kills are starting to come through. UTC keeping them at bay. Trapped in the back. Pixels looking for a bit more. Will be shut down on the aggressive push, and now they work Zubs out of the back of Junkyard here too. Looking good. Maybe all the way up front. Has a chance to come around the play, or at least cut off the respawners. He's going to find the first.
Yeah. Opportunity for the first tick of progress. Pappy down low. My Slim. Careful. That's not a gunfight you should lose against a Vaznev, but nearly did. Red Chase, Semtex, well placed. Flushes the Tigers out of that quick tools area. Tabby, though, in the dead silence, is looking to just follow up and re-hit top patio, and this is going to work out great. Good trigger discipline here. First one's free. Second one, though, down low has kind of gotten away from him, but it doesn't make much of a difference. Ronan gets the 1 elimination, but Pixels standing in their way will take down 2. 1 more over the top of the boxes, and Pixels may have needed to play his life a little bit longer than that, because now UTC are still staggering, trying to get off of spawn as the first tick gets locked in.
First tick is in, and well, it's going to be a full-on brawl. Everybody coming back off of spawn, and the kills are clean right now for LSU. 2 of the 4 are down. The response is there, and Red Chase, how does he find 2? And what? Through the tarp with the prediction? Red Chase clears off the point by himself, stops the second tick, and now there's only 15 seconds left.
Unreal saves from UTC, man. Unreal saves. This one just cut short of when the second tick of progress was nearly locked in. And they flipped the life lead into their favor with more kills coming in around the zone. Zub, Slim, teeing off. Everybody from UTC collecting kills here at the end. Wow. Unbelievable stuff defensively again from UTC. It just comes at the sacrifice of the A zone and 1 tick at B. Boy, once more is LSU really close to finishing off until it was this play from Red Chase. Holy.
Wow. Man. That's just a crazy prediction, or probably just a lot of LSU control throughout this year to know where you can wallbang specific spots like that and finish off kills that easily. What another big moment here out of Red Chase to save it. They also stopped the second tick, I believe, there too. So just insane stuff coming on through for UTC. But we need to see a cleaner offense, and I want to see them commit together and use numbers on the point and not just come in staggered.
Yeah, that's a good shout. See you first blood. UTC still looking for some map control here, and while there's not going to get any gunfights, although Pixels has snuck through this LSU defense. And unless LSU are trying to count numbers here, they may not expect this, but no. Kill from below is good, and all of the first 5 kills tally in favor of the Tigers. Slim trying to force something towards B, but he's shut down, and oh boy, this is just not good at all. 8 straight eliminations for LSU. To say it politely, it's not good at all.
No, it's not. Not good at all. In the back, can't get out of the spawn. Only 2 lives here have been eliminated. It is just complete dominance, and oh my, Ronan. There's 6. There's the cruise missile. Red Chase gets the trade, but I mean, they are struggling, hanging on by a thread. Maybe finally a little bit of hope here as they clear out a couple players in the base, but maybe he's right back. He could look to do it again and come behind the play.
Yeah, the problem here now for UTC is, well, obviously this offense has not been very successful for you, but if you don't find a way to get the extra 60 seconds and start fighting back, you're going to be looking at an LSU round 5 defense with a cruise missile, maybe more than that if Dwarflin can keep this up. And as the second tick is stopped and depleted, Dwarflin now cuts back into mid on 3 in a row. And UTC are just stuck inside a spawn looking for trades, and can somebody double chow this guy? Are you kidding me?
He's not missing right now. He's just so terrifying. And it feels like that is probably it. One last chance maybe to touch B. Zubs could dive into A, 0.2. Still a chance, but you cannot afford to get off the zone, not even once. And the reinforcements are now just getting here for a bit of a stack. We'll see if they can try to play a retake. Shut down in the back now from the side of the courtyard. Zubs again
No
has
way,
been able to do
dude.
it, and they steal it with 0.2?
No way. And they've started to fight back the life lead. 17 plays 9. 1 tick of progress locked. UTC looking to sneak their way around the back, but it's all being shut down. So a hell of an effort here from the Mox, but LSU just so much life to play with. Not a lot of clock remaining, obviously, when you capture a zone at 0.2 seconds, so that's also problematic. But you never know. You clean out these last couple of members, maybe a chance to stack. Slim would have to do something unbelievable, though, and he does have a little bit of help here. It's working with Zubs, but Nades will take down his compatriot, and with that, Slim is now completely isolated, and the help is on the way. Help is on the way, D! I just had like a big Mrs. Doubtfire moment right there in my mind when I said that. I apologize. I'm not sorry. I'm not kidding. I'm not sorry. Please, have you seen Mrs. Doubtfire?
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy.
It's a Robin Williams classic, dude.
I feel like you knew that answer before you asked.
Yeah, based on your reaction, I had an idea. Help is on the way, dear! It's too funny. I'll school you one day.
Yeah, one day we're just gonna bang out
it is like
30,000 movies I gotta watch with all your quotes over the years.
One day. Yeah, in one day. That is like, I know I say it all the time, like that's a must watch, but that is one of Robin Williams' best performances, like flat out.
Okay. I'll take you up on that one, because I do like that, man.
And when that moment hits, you're gonna think of me saying that. You're like, wow, it was a really good impression.
I like it. But UTC, they got a similar problem here, Alan. They do not have enough ticks, and now need to have a much better showing again, as I said in the last round, off the break here in their attacking round. They can't rely on these 0.2 kind of, just heroic moments over and over and over again. We got to see something off the start to get that extra minute earlier.
Yeah, that's the big thing, is it's off the breakoffs, right? Like, we just have not seen a lot of... I mean, when you give up 8 straight kills, it's easy for us to point to, but it was a problem in their first offense as well. This time a little bit better, though. Even trades back and forth. Allows a chance for UTC to get out of spawn and maybe even into the A zone. Yeah, sure is. Pixel's just watching the double doors. This would be an instant reaction from him. Doors stunned over. Semtex to follow. But the kills to still allow Pixels to stay on the zone. Second tick of progress on the way, but Dwarflin, little mini pinch from him. That clears off one offensive contestant. The knife gets it done for the follow-up. LSU on the retake.
And the way they just use their teamwork, debate and switch, you get low, the next guy comes, like, it's so beautiful. Watch these guys retake zones and break hard points open. But they stop the push, still have to find that extra minute on one of these zones, and now it looks like it could come by way of either zone, as both are actually under attack. Dwarflin needs to come around and try to get something done, but can't shoot, can't fire through the fence, and now Ronan has to call in the streak. He does at least finish off one, with Pixel still alive and could still create some pressure.
Thing about it is, you would call it, this is progress on both zones at the same time, so even committing that cruise missile to one zone to the other was a little bit of a press decision, but the second tick of progress does not fully get locked in on either site. And with that, now depletion ensues. 21 plays 19. 32 seconds on the clock, and UTC need to make up their minds. Where are we going? Are we going B? We're going A. Kind of hard to feel it out based on the minimap right now. Finally, it looks like with that kill from Red Chase, they're going to commit over towards the A zone. Dwarflin thinking about it, but no, shut down, and UTC lock in the second tick of progress.
Lock it in. Should be able to lock in the third. I say should, because there was almost a crazy play, but they do find the trade, and numbers at least still in favor of LSU. But that's a huge kill there from Pixels. This is going to loosen up just a little bit of room now up top to maybe get behind, like we've been seeing. It hasn't worked out too successfully. They've never really been able to get to, like, the back of Garage. But if they can, maybe there's a chance to be able to get something done on the B zone. They just need 2 ticks.
That little play from Red Chase over towards the patio staircase will force LSU to spawn over towards Pixel's direction.
Here we go.
Does he get into the zone, though? Not quite there all the way. UTC still having a hard time getting through Petrov as well over towards Soccer. Slim not able to answer for him, and now you've got a 3-life deficit for UTC. You're down to 45 seconds, and no kills are going their way towards the B zone. They have to fight their way out of spawn.
Oh, that back left spawn that came through defensively really hurt them. There was a chance maybe to kind of work through the trades, but they weren't expecting as many numbers as there were there for LSU. And now the positioning for Petrov is just stopping any kind of an offensive attack through this junkyard right now. There's 2 players completely staring at him, and he is still getting some damage out, playing his life. Slim has to take an alternate route, and he just barely finishes them off. But with 20 seconds left, you got to get on the zone. You have to stop the clock. We're down to 15.
Pixels will be on. 14.1 is where the clock stops. Petrov is the only defending LSU member nearby. He's going to go long route, just on the outside, try to play for some crosses. Second tick of progress, locked in. Now Petrov has to go. Nade support is in. Here comes the double chow. No answer from Petrov. Pavi also a little bit empty. Third tick of progress is on the way. 8 also playing up against 3. All the conditions coming through at once, but it's LSU who clear the zone. And for the first time, their defense was tested. Boy, did they ever provide some sort of a response. Pickles, the last one left, not going to be able to get in. And COD LSU will take the swing map, go up 2-1 in the series.
I feel like that one's going to sting quite a bit here for UTC, but the defense just too strong on the other side. A lot of key moments coming in the end, and it's 45 kills that Ronan ends with, dude. 45 kills in control. Like, that is a round and a half worth of kills, all brought to you by this man himself. That is just absolutely absurd. Right behind him, Dwarflin, I mean, he was finding the impactful kills. 27 of those 35 non-traded. Those are some stats, let me tell you.
Yeah, the 45 kills is impressive when you remember the first round. It was 13 kills for Dwarflin and like 8 combined for the rest of the team. So talk about Ronan popping off there in those last 4 rounds. Boy, did he ever average. You would say he averaged more than 10 kills a round in those last 4. That's pretty damn impressive. So, man, another tight one, though. Goodness gracious, UTC is fighting against the favored LSU team by record and by top 25 ranking. But, man, it's just these little things here and there. I think we can kind of categorize a lot of this map by UTC and the offensive struggles, saying that their breakoffs were just not finding the success they needed. And then here at the end, it was just a couple of the key gunfights. You know, the heroics at 0.2 seconds in round 4. You had to do almost the exact same thing again on the A zone, just not giving yourself a lot of time to ever really set up and aggress towards B as a squad.
Yeah, it was a lot of moments, a lot of good moments. Pixels, you know, kind of gets to the back even a couple of times. Unfortunate defensive spawns that they come through behind Pride Rock to catch them off guard. They had some good looks, and I think that's the thing about LSU is you only get, you know, like a handful of good looks around on the attack, right? 2 to 3 good chances, maybe where you have a shot to be able to put them in the spawn trap blender, get some of that top patio control, stack the zone, whatever it might be.
Right.
And you have to capitalize, and when you don't, well, the defense can get here, set up, and hold on, and that's exactly what kind of ended up happening here in the end. Just edge out, but I mean, these have all been like close maps. Shout out our, you know, our ops team for selecting this matchup because it has been a fun one so far, but it's still UTC struggling just to get over the line here in the respawns, man.
It's been close though, man. It's been real close. Wow. 35 and 25, 45 and 30, 35 non-traded, 27 non-traded, nearly 5. I mean, let's just give him 5,000 damage to run in. I mean, and that's, again, the first round, he had like 4 damage for sure. He had like 5 kills in the first round, so that is unbelievable. Nearly averaged 1,000 damage per round. That's an actual number right there, by the way. It's not a fake number like Pavi's, but that's crazy.
Yeah. That is crazy. Because, like, we always talk about, like, the difference between hardpoint and control. And control, it's like, it's a lot of 1v1s that you're taking, right? So,
yeah, true.
Ronan is just winning a lot of 1v1s. Like, 35 of, you know, the 45 are non-traded. So that really does kind of put it in perspective for you. Oh, man. Tough scenes. On the other side, I mean, it really was just the clutch factor that we saw kind of out of, you know, Zubs or maybe out of Red Chase there in a couple of those offensive rounds. But, you know, as far as slaying goes, they really could not keep up in that category. It was just constantly relying on those last second place.
And it really wasn't that anyone underperformed from UTC. It was just the team was being held back, you know, by these individual plays by LSU. And maybe there's something to be said about just finding better trades and helping each other maybe a little bit more. Like you kind of mentioned at the top of that map, need to see the teamwork get polished up just a touch. So now you're kind of in a must-win situation, obviously, if you're UTC. Not only because it's a hotel hardpoint, you're down 1-2, but again, the hardpoint's been your problem spot statistically across the matches you play up until this point. Again, both of these teams have a lot of matches to remake up because I think this is match number 8 for them out of the 11, so they still have to play, I think, 3 more games before their season's technically over with their reschedules. So some learning to be done, but this is a key one like we continue to mention because LSU in the standings have a small edge over UTC. And that gap, when it comes to seeding, could actually be pretty, I would say, expensive when it comes down to that playoff bracket, especially with how the last chance qualifier is going to work out.
For sure, I'm with you. I mean, just a 4-4 record, everything too, just for kind of building some of that momentum for those matches that you're all going to have to play out, pretty concisely here over the next week. So. Yeah, a lot to take in here for these guys. I mean, they're just about there, and I think that's probably the toughest part about, playing right now for them is that we've almost done it now twice, and, in game modes that they're stronger than us then, but we just haven't been able to just get over the line, and now you only have one more chance to do it. I think, a total now of 3-8 when it comes down to the hard points after that map one loss, so got to do something crazy on here on Hotel. I don't know if it's just one player taking over, whatever it might be, but something's got to come to life here for them.
Yeah, and, not that I'm trying to counter you the point. You don't have to do anything too crazy though, because you were really close in the Hydro hardpoint. We continue to talk about, the map kind of played 50-50. You have your half, we'll have our half, but the break attempts that came through were just slightly more convincing from LSU. So this is a map that, again, it does not really play left to right like Hydro does. It's more of that star pattern where everything kind of comes across the map, and that's where I always say you got to look at what happens in the rotational 30 seconds between hard points, because if you're out of tempo, exiting from one hard point, trying to play over to the next one, you may have already lost out on 30 seconds of that hill, especially the way the Hotel will play. So that's where I want to see the slight tuning. Is not anything too aggressive or nuts, but play with a little bit more tempo. As soon as a hard point's about to exit, that you've got convincing enough kills, start stretching across the map, try to catch the Tigers on rotation and force the spawns to be a little bit weird for them, because I feel like more often than not, going from P2 and P4 and Hydro over towards 3 and 5, it just felt like UTC was continually spawning on the other side of the map and never had a good look at breaking those hills, whereas LSU were kind of pushing forward a touch more and, doing a little bit of the dirty work around those mid rotational spawns.
Yeah, and I mean, a map like, Hotel 2 could be great for someone like Pixels, who was having a really good start, kind of, within that first half of the hard point. We were highlighting just his routes he was taking to kind of cut off the reinforcements, picking up a couple multi-kills, just slowing it down just a touch, just forcing them to wait for the teammates to come back off of spawn. So a map like Hotel with a lot of routes and just a lot of different, doorways that you can kind of finesse your way through, there is a lot of chances maybe for Pixels to put up a similar performance after maybe a couple of rough back-to-back games here for him. So seeing if he can maybe come alive and kind of be that sub pressure that you need, because you always need one good roaming SMG. I feel like on Hotel, if you can just find someone that can get into a groove and start to find some of those rotational kills, play their life, sit in a corner, play ratty, as we like to say it in the scene, that can kind of be one of your win conditions, just being a little bit annoying.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way the game plays. When you can go prone inside of a bush on a corner, do it.
I know you love it.
Yeah, I love it, dude. It's my
favorite. A lot
favorite
of bushes here on Hotel, in the Hotel, right?
Hey, you can't hide from the plants. Yeah, the plants may as well be bushes.
Have you seen the cupboard spot, up top in bedroom? I don't know if it's G8 or if they patched it, but that spot is hilarious.
Yes. There's a lot of that. It's just the way the game plays. Embrace it. What did we say back in 2019? Adapt.
Get good.
Yeah, just get better, dude. Aim higher. Not a pomage. That's all I got.
That's all you got? It's okay. I'm sure UTC's got a little bit more for us here, but can they actually close it, man? I know you do not want to see a map 5 for LSU. I can't imagine that's going to, maybe put on additional pressure here because you're going into a mode that that you're really consistent at, but you got to see if you can try to pull something out here with a good break off. Just get some momentum rolling. Someone have a good moment, get hyped, something to at least get the snowball potentially going in your favor, because Hotel can be very snowbally too. So yeah,
very much so. Let's take a look at this Midwest bracket, or the Southeast bracket. I keep looking at the Midwest matchup, sorry. The Southeast matchup, just as far as how this region has gone, this has been a region full of surprises. Mars Hill, perfect, 9-0. James Madison, 8-2. I don't think any of us had that. But, the rest of the group is up for grabs. I mean, you've got Newberry, Full Sail, both with 5 wins, LSU, Mox, High Point, Florida International, all at 3 wins. Those are all schools that could find themselves, in the top 8. Concord, I don't know if they're still playing. I think they forfeited out their whole season.
Yeah.
They went 0-11. I assume they forfeited out. And then Alabama, who has been essentially absent, just 2-7 through their first 9 games. It kind of all of a sudden puts a lot of pressure. If the Mox lose this matchup with still some to play, they very well may find themselves in the bottom 4. So LSU's a little bit safer. I mean, this is match
Sure.
8. There's still a chance I think they could fall into the bottom 4, but at 4-3 with the rest of the group sitting at 3-6, 3-5, they should be okay. But this is a pretty crucial matchup for the Mocs, who still have a lot of schedule to play through.
And I feel like, if you were to go, drop into 3-5, it's like, then that's when like the pressure really sets in. It's like, okay, now these are all must wins, right? So it's just not a spot that you want to be in as a competitor, knowing that your back's already up against the wall before you even go into a best of 5 to try to make top 8. So it makes it a lot easier if you just win Hotel Hardpoint, win your S&Ds like we normally see, and then it's high LSU at 4-4, right? That's perfect picture.
Yeah.
But probably not going to work out that way without a lot of a fight here from LSU, man. These guys are hard to put down, at least from what we've seen here so far. But you said it. I mean, this match really does determine so much for who might actually make it into the top 8 between these two.
100%. And the seeding is, I think, crucially important, by the way. Getting buys is nice, but when you come out of your region as the number 8 in that instance, and you have to play up against a super hot team that's already been playing in the last chance qualifiers, they're going to learn a lot about themselves. So,
sure,
it definitely is one of those things that the buy does not, I think, favor a team as much as you would normally expect, just because, again, I don't know how much these teams are actually practicing or scrimming, but you have to assume it's not as much as like your challengers and CDL teams that could make a lot of headway off of a bye. And then looking at other matchups they still have to play, like LSU's, the rest of their schedule is not necessarily easy. They have to play High Point still, they have to play FIU still, and they have to play UCF. So all those are schools that are technically below them in the current rankings, but I wouldn't say that any of those are guaranteed wins based on the records that we're looking at. So, a lot of work to still be done, whereas for the side of Mocs COD, they still have to play Newberry College, who's at 5-4. That's not great news. They still have to play Alabama. That's probably a win, just based on how they're playing today. But, they very well may find themselves sitting at like 3-8 or 4-7, which is, again, maybe just barely good enough to get into the top 8.
We'll have to see. Chance, though, still get it done in a respawn as we try to load back in for the second time on Hotel Hardpoint. It's been all respawns here for LSU. If you're just tuning in, UT able to grab at least that first S&D. They'd love to get to a second S&D with their win-loss record, but can they get it done on the Hardpoint, Allen? That's what we're asking.
It's true. The inquiry's out.
It's out there.
Question's been posed. The ask has been made.
Anymore?
The thesis has been... No, there we go. Let's get into it. UTC, nice little opening for them. 9 seconds, a very early time, and trades that are continuing to keep the hard point at worst neutral. So a decent start, but of course, the big stretch and the big ask is, can you get over to the other side of the map, as LSU are earning some of their own time and setting up for a bit of a defense.
I'll be looking through connector, gets a good read on the first, and nice little snap up top, gets a second Vaznev. Hold on a second, almost a 5 spree to open it up, and a very good sign here for LSU, alive and well, and will contest a lot of this P1 time as they're already in position, but have to defend 3 different members here on the attack.
Yeah, this is tough scenes because as one member falls, it's just Petrov trying to anchor, and he's been red in the back. Actually, a bit surprised and asking for any assistance on this kill, because the longer that Petrov stays in the back, the more limited your focus is towards the front. And this is the longest 1v1 in the history of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. As both teams continue to spawn out, finally, Petrov will give off the ankle, play through Spa. Chase picks him up, and with that UTC, now a chance to try to stabilize. But again, look how long that took. Zubs is still not a part of the play, and LSU have that as an opportunity to break.
That's exactly it. You hit on it perfectly, man. It's just all this attention to the back. They're able to at least break through the front, trade it effectively, and, well, kills are still coming on through. LSU almost there for a little bit more for what could be 20 seconds, and that will be the case. Potentially, Spawn does come through in the back, though, so Slim actually has a chance maybe to fight for the back 10. Ronan going to get a good read on the first, and no way does he pick up that second, almost. Now the rotation into Freezer and in Kitchen. Petrov is here.
Petrov will not be able to win the 1v1 versus Red Chase. He has weakened him up, though, but okay, Red Chase with the double. That should at least block spawns, and yeah, Dwarflin will spawn out. But does Zub spawn in? No, so once again, LSU now, shoes on the opposite foot. They're looking for Red Chase as the break from the front starts to mass. Kills not all that convincing, it's just Red Chase doing it all himself. Now Zub's from the front. This would be the time to go while everyone's looking for your teammate in the back, but this is the timing by just that much, and LSU with the kills will start to stabilize with numbers.
Oh, Pixel's able to throw himself in, but that's all it is. It's just small little contests. Nothing can really break from the front. Red Chase does everything perfectly, and he's able to get in again. Can he find a second? Just about. Making them work absolutely overtime here to try to finish off some of these kills, man. It's been incredible, but it's still LSU coming out with the majority of the time. It's a great kitchen hill for them, as they're now going to have just a nice cushion coming into the next one.
Yeah. Kind of feels like Hydra all over again a little bit in a way. Once more, LSU. A chance on rotation to get a free look at the new hardpoint. Nades are out. No trophy system down here on the side of UTC. The kills are still coming their way. All three of them, in fact. Slim getting a lot of the work. Pixels destroying trophy systems and now trying to help out onto the hardpoint itself. Gets the first. Solid read onto the second. Tags are in. And with that, Pixels on 3. More help, though, for LSU. Quickly on the way. They still spawn relatively close here. Well, until Dwarflin finally gets pushed out of spawn. But he's going to use that as a natural chance to pinch. And UTC, again, just a little bit statuesque, not really getting proactive, even though they're in the hard point.
Brooklyn, he's got so many players kind of just watching for him. He stops Red Chase and Slim from pushing on through and trying to get support in and around the point, and that should allow LSU with the quick spawn in the back to basically lock in the back 25 seconds. So a nice little moment there from Dwarflin with the split spawn, just using his positioning well, just stopping everybody from UTC from having a chance of being able to push through. And now forced to rotate here will be UTC. We'll see if they can lock it in.
Once again, LSU, go scrap to initial. The patterns, the trends, they are showing up. UTC on the surround. Dwarflin just trying to finesse. Does well for the first, but it's Pixels who finally cleans things up. Havy from the backside on 3 in a row. Not going to get the better of Pixels either. So with that, UTC secure the hard point. 44 seconds left to fight for. LSU spawning on kitchen side, and once more, UTC is just not in a proactive position to deal with this. First 2 kills go the way of the Tigers. More on the way, and no way do UTC have all 4 members in the hard point, and they don't get a single kill. That is not good enough.
No, that's tough, and now Zub's just kind of forced to make a big play by himself. He'll be shut down, running for 2 more. I mean, you're just seeing an absolute brawl here for the scrap. Everybody wants to get their hands on it, and the UTC might be able to get it, and they will. So that's still at least a solid hill for them, as much as we're not seeing, the holds come on through. They're able to bring it back just a touch, just down by about 10 to 15 seconds. We'll see what they can do now on this rotation over to the rooftops.
Have to have it here for Chattanooga. I know it's a tight game, but with LSU in a nice position, and just, again, just look at the minimap. Look how proactive LSU are. Even on that elimination onto Petrov, Pavy moves forward into the fray. He doesn't go backwards into the hard point where he has to put together a reaction. He's trying to kill extra time, and man, it's amounting to these small gaps and these small differences across not just the first hard point, but especially here on the hotel. Little mantle play from Pixels. Good prediction from Dwarflin to Red Chase. Trade is in, though, and once more, this is just good back and forth from favoring LSU, largely speaking. Nice stun. And how about it? LSU stabilized, 20 seconds to scrap, so the fight for, and UTC may have to commit to this.
Wow, yeah. I mean, this is a full 60, and they haven't really even got a contest. This is finally their first team push moment, and it's for scrap time, and it's still not going to go over completely for free, man. Just struggling to finish off a lot of these kills. Able to get 8 seconds, but, I mean, LSU happy to give you that time, try to flip the map, and get themselves set up for P1.
Of which, the setup is a little bit fragile. Team Nade makes that a little bit easier. A couple of wall bangs also keep the hard point neutral. 165-108, favoring LSU. Pixels, backside, archway, good for 1. Long range shots, lots of damage towards the couch, contested. Nade will try to follow up on that, but a little too deep, and Pixels eventually gets overwhelmed. Red Chase trying to assist, but these are all Vaznev's gunfights that feel like they should have tacks in their hands. Once again, Chattanooga just not quite getting into the faces of the LSU Tigers as they find a way to still find more time here on P1.
Oh, Red Chase, man. He's doing everything he can. Keeping it scrappy, and UTC, maybe 15 seconds, but I feel like that's kind of what we've been saying over the last couple of hills, and maybe not even scrap time's going to go their way now on P1, as everyone's forced to rotate. It's freezer spawns coming through very deep here for UTC. They're going to be late on this rotation now to P2. And the setup is once again in while all the rotational kills are just flowing here for LSU. You got 1 player in the back. That's Zubs. We'll see if he can try to make something happen because you have to break here for UTC.
And he has to get active. You can't just sit back here and hope that your teammates are going to spawn with you. You have to start making a play for the hard point, especially as your teammates continue to get cut on this play through mid-front desk. Zub's gunfight win comes his way. But LSU still in the hard point, and still very comfortably in the hard point, mind you. I mean, Zubs has both of his nades. I was going to say this earlier. I feel like UTC are just not throwing their utility. But now we're really starting to see it. Zub's going to get done, though, with the rifle. Trophy system down. LSU going to be spawning out, and that's enough for them to concede and head over to New.
It's a good moment. Pixels has already went to the new hill, so if he can try to hold his life and just try to buy time for his teammates to get here, there could be a chance, and Pixels is doing it! He's able to find 2. It's been a slow start for him. But how about finding it here now, late into the game? This could be everything for UTC. One more kill in, and Pixel's not ready for it. Red Chase gets the trade, and UTC find a beautiful transition to New.
You got Pixels who can cut off this mid-cross as well. Timing should be good for it. Red Chase watching the side door, and that's a lot of information transmitted into this UTC defense. And you hold from inside the side doors. Look at all the nades that are coming through. So much damage and concussive effects coming out, and man... I'm saying that Slim and Red Chase are always throwing their nades, but I gotta say, Zubs and Pixels are holding on to a lot of their utility. Not that it's gonna make that, significant difference maker, but these breaks are made easier because LSU are getting their utility off, and Chattanooga have no responses.
Without a doubt. Tough scenes right now here for UTC, and Slim looking for a heroic moment. That's all there's really left in this game. Heroic moments need to come through consistently from every single player. And Dwarflin has made it behind enemy lines. Will they sniff him out, or will he make a big play? The timing might still be there for him. He gets 2. Knows one more is behind him, and I think he maybe goes to a second weapon. Either way, he creates enough space. LSU, they're on the time.
Yep. Looking good here for COD LSU to put away the series. 239 is where it stops, though, as UTC still get the favorite spawns through Spa, get around the back of this, but Dwarflin on his second life. Cuts right back in, and now Pavy's going to be able to assist on this little pinch up. Not that it was needed. Dwarflin's doing it all himself, and now the bump. Pavy, long range, not going to get the better of the last, but it does not make a difference. Tigers will take it in all 3 respawns. Halfway as expected, I would say, but maybe not in how tight the first 3 maps were. That much was for sure, but LSU, number 24, hold their spot and improve their standings in the group.
They sure do. And they make sure they keep their records nice and high here around the respawns as they tally 2 more hard points in a control. But you said it, Alan, extremely close. This one, maybe the furthest one, from everything else that we've seen. A lot of good looks, though. And I think that's the frustrating thing is, even like that rotational moment, like that moment where we saw the P2 break and then the hold for the back 25.
Yes.
Pixels made that rotation to New with the 2-piece. That's when I was thinking, okay, UTC are actually in a position to maybe bring this one back, chain hills together. That's what Hotel kind of comes down to. Can you find a chance to kind of chain 2 hills back to back on the map? But if so, you can grab yourself control of the game or at least get yourself back into it. But Absolutely. That break immediately after was just too fast, too quick, no trophy systems down, and almost felt too easy. And everything just kind of fell apart there from that moment on.
And I'm going to be overreacting to this, but it's been said a lot. I remember this was like a big point of conversation, like back in Modern Warfare 19, where everyone, like, the challengers at CDL level, like 5v5, was like, throw your freaking stuff. Like, I don't care where it goes, just throw it. Like, I remember there was a big moment where people were talking about, like, I don't want a facility on a death screen. Like, if you didn't throw your nades off of a life, you're giving away an advantage. And it just felt like more often than not, watching LSU's break attempts, you were dealing with UTC members that were stunned or naded to half HP. And not that it was like every time it was the same way, but it definitely were some significant moments where it's just like LSU are all 3 or 4 members in and around the hard point, and they aren't being stunned or naded at all. And it's like in this moment right here for like Ronan, like there was nothing coming his direction, and I don't know. I just feel like if you're UTC and you're Slim and your Red Chase watching this back, maybe the next thing to start teaching your new freshmen is throw all of your stuff all the time, because it felt like they were dying with both nades more often than they were ever throwing them.
Right. Tough scenes to be sure, but good looks, at least on the other side, for the 3-1 victory. Ronan again, I mean, he has looked phenomenal today through the slaying, man. I'll say that much. He drops 45 in that control. He follows it up with a 31 kill performance as well in the hard point. 2 minutes in the hill as well. Like, he's doing just about everything he possibly can. Avi doing, a very similar thing as well. 33 kills. He was a lot more active, I would say, on this map, and he was just constantly being annoying here for UTC and cutting down the reinforcements. It felt like spawn after spawn.
You got 3 members over 3k damage. Pretty impressive. And all of them had over a minute of hard point time. Even more impressive when you put it like that. So COD LSU take the series. UTC, both teams have a lot of series to play as we continue to talk about, but for UTC, their path is not guaranteed necessarily to a top 8, whereas with that win from COD LSU, they will, I'm sure, find themselves into the top 8 in some form, likely higher than lower than that top 8 range. Really, the only major contestants above them would be schools like James Madison, UNA, Mars Hill, and then some vying for positioning around Newberry College and Full Sail, who find themselves at 5-4 and 5-5, respectively. So, respectively, not respectfully. They're not respectfully 5-5. Oh yes, hello, I'm 5-5. How are you today? No, respectively 5-5 and 5-4.
I like it, dude.
It's words things, Austin. Just words things.
Yeah, it'll be good looks, man. We'll see what shakes up. With that top 8, it's just they got to figure out the respawns. And like you said, sometimes it takes the vets maybe just spending a little bit more time with some of the newer guys to try to get them on the same page for what it takes, I guess, to be consistently good in respawns. But the S&Ds at least look good. The sniper shots look good. A lot of good moments through this series, man. A lot of fun, I'll say, for sure.
Absolutely the case. That takes us to the conclusion, though, of our first block of matches. Next one up, a little battle for Ohio, as we have The Ohio State University going up against Ohio University, who just came off some pretty significant performances at the Columbus LAN that just happened. So we'll see if they can transmit that success into the online sphere. They need it. We'll come back after the break, set it all up. Don't go far.